Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bunker to Bunker podcast. We are joined by the championship director for the 2024 PGA Championship at Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky, which is in a couple of weeks away. We are joined by Ryan Ogle. Ryan, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Josh. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. I'm glad we found some time. I do have a little bit of a experience volunteering at the PGA in 2019, which was the first PGA in May when Brooks Koepka won, and I was at the Ryder Cup. So I usually have some of the flags. I have like two flags like you also do, but I'm at my home in Philly right now for Passover for like the holiday, so not in my regular studio, but those times were pretty cool. And I wanted to have you on just to kind of to learn about what kind of goes into, to set up a major championship, because when I was a volunteer, there is so much that people don't know that I think this can provide a ton of value for the golf space. So kind of like my first question is kind of how you got started at the PGA and got to the point you're at now.
Sure. Yeah, no, there's a lot that goes into golf operations in general, especially major championships, as you have experienced, and I've been fortunate to work on. I started with the PGA in 2012 at the 2012 Ryder Cup in Medina, outside of Chicago, actually in hospitality services. So something you're very familiar with.
Yeah.
I was an intern for 4 months, running the intern program. So the program you kind of went through,
Yeah.
I was responsible. We had about 100 interns from DePaul and Loyola that I kind of recruited, organized, supported, and we were responsible to manage all the hospitality venues. Did some outings, did some different things as an intern, but got my feet wet,
Yeah.
got excited. I was hired by another champ director now, Brian Carnes, who had gone to Oklahoma State, where I was going, and he reached out to the professor there of sports management, and
Hmm.
I was fortunate enough to get it, and spent time with working for BK, and then after that, I didn't have a job. I went back home to Oklahoma, where I'm from, looking for a job, and luckily a full time role with the PGA opened up, running volunteers at the 2014 KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship. I was in Benton Harbor, Michigan, which is on Southwest Michigan. If you were in
Okay.
Chicago and you took a boat across the lake, you'd run into Benton Harbor. Did the 14 seniors. Then they moved me down to French Lick, Indiana, which is about an hour drive from Louisville, where I'm currently sitting to do the volunteer program there. And while I was there, the director back in Michigan, because our event would go back there every other year because it's the home of
Okay.
our sponsor, he got promoted to the Ryder Cup in 2016 Ryder Cup, and they needed a director. And I was asked to apply, and at first I was like, "Nah, I think I'm okay. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but I was hesitant." And my now boss kind of talked me into doing it, and I was lucky enough to finally get the offer, and so became the champ director in early 2015. Finished up French Lick in May, and then moved up back up to Michigan, where I ran the 2016, 2018, and 2020 events. The seniors is the same kind of scale or same operation and process as a PGA championship, just at a little bit smaller scale.
Yeah.
We have 1,800 volunteers versus 3,100 at a PGA. The build is smaller, but it's still a big operation, big undertaking. After 2020, which was ultimately canceled because of COVID, I was asked to move to Kiowa, South Carolina, to take over the 2021 PGA Championship, because the director there had moved on from the PGA, and I was stoked. I wanted the 21 PGA. I thought it was a great spot. Went and operated that one. I show up and everything's sold out, and we have tremendous success. And about a month in to the job, they're like, "All right, we got to pivot. We got to reduce the attendance. You got to
Yeah.
get approval." And so working through the state and different processes, but it was an amazing event, a big challenge, but amazing event with Phil winning at 51. To be the first large spectator event where masks weren't required. It was
Yeah.
just epic. Then I moved here to Louisville, Kentucky in the fall of 2021. I've been here for about 2.5 years planning a 1 week event, which we can dive into why in the heck
Yeah.
we spend 2.5 to 3 years. And then from here, my next spot is Philly. So where you're at now, right outside of
Yeah.
Philly in Newtown Square for the 2026 PGA. So don't want to talk more about myself or try not to, but that's kind of my path. And I've learned a lot along the way, not only about golf, but, just about growing in the professional world, leadership and things like that. That's, I'm very fortunate that I've had the opportunity and very thankful for all the people that have helped me. And most importantly, my wife who's supported me through this journey.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy journey, like to hop around from city to city. I learned that when, I talked to a lot of people at your level at the, 2019 and 2020 Ryder Cup. Kind of my question for you is kind of like everyone focuses on the golf tournament and the course and the storylines in golf, but like once you actually get on ground, you're like, this is like a well-oiled machine, which you're the engine that drives that train. So for me, like what kind of goes into being a championship director that maybe some things that people don't really know?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the majority of people that watch golf or golf fans, majority only see it on TV, right?
Yeah.
And so they see what we call inside the ropes. So if you go to a golf event, there's rope and stake that
Yep.
surrounds where the players go and where the spectators cannot go, honestly. And from a broadcast perspective, which is the largest audience, you're talking millions and millions and millions of people watching this across the world. That's all they know, and that's the main focus, right? That is the most important thing: is how does it come across on the broadcast. However,
Yeah.
for our corporate clients, for our ticket holders, for our volunteers, the most important thing for them is their experience that week on site. When I get asked what do I do as champ director, it's a tough question to answer, honestly, and I haven't figured out the best way. But um, I lead a team on site that is responsible for everything outside the ropes.
Yeah.
So we have different focus areas on site: corporate hospitality sales, corporate hospitality services, volunteer operations, and then kind of marketing and ticket sales. So we're trying to invite people to come out or to support, and then create an environment that you would experience at any other sporting event, except we do it in a temporary environment, in a temporary setting on a golf course, which is a unique challenge. And by the way, we do it in a different golf course every year.
Yeah.
So most tournaments stay at the same spot. Our championship moves, adds a different element. But so I'm responsible for leading that team, strategy, support, honestly, doing whatever I can to help them be successful. Developing a team, leading a team is probably my most important job. I manage our relationship with our host site, so Valhalla Golf Club here, making sure we're doing right by them. We're adhering to our agreements and our understandings, and promoting them and putting them in a great spotlight. Media and government relations. There's a lot of different hats that I'll wear, but our primary focus is on creating a sporting event and sporting environment at the golf course, which takes some time to do. So I'm very fortunate to have a lot of support from our headquarters in Frisco, Texas, and we have different support people that support those different functions that
Yeah.
keep year over year consistency. And there's a couple of us across the nation that kind of bounce around and skip each other. So I'm doing 24 right now. There's another guy doing
Yeah.
25. I'll do 26. There's another one doing 27. So we have these teams or pods, so to say, that kind of bounce around, which is an interesting lifestyle. It's fun.
It
It's a good
is.
time. But it's a unique challenge as well.
What makes like a U.S. Open last year at LACC kind of got criticized for being like the corporate open. So like what kind of makes like how do you balance the corporate side of things and also for the common fan like me? Like how does that work with like the tickets and access and all that stuff, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a tough balance, right? Like the corporate end of sports overall, the high end experience has grown tremendously. You're seeing it in all
Yeah.
sports, where especially right now when more stadiums are being redone or new stadiums are being built, they are prioritizing premium space. And the main reason is you can get, I mean, quite frankly, you can create more profit per person in a corporate environment. So it's a
Yeah.
balance of the finances, and then being good stewards of the game and being given the opportunity for everyone to come. I mean, I remember 1999. I think 1999 U.S. Open was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and
Hmm.
my grandfather took me to a practice round. Juniors got in free. So he took me. And I remember that to this day. And it was crazy to go full circle and help operate an event there at Southern Hills 20 years later. But if it wasn't for that junior access, I don't know if I'd ever been. So that stuff's still important. So we balance it. We have to create corporate environments to create the high end experience because people want that and it helps the P&L. But then you also have to create an environment for the ticket holder. We still do junior free admission, 15 and under with a ticketed adult. But it is a balance. And the thing is what I think you noticed at LACC, although I can't speak for the USGA, they run a great event. When you do that, you kind of see from my perspective, they probably went a little too corporate, and there's probably a lot of challenges we're not aware of. First off, LA is tough in general. The course is tight and small.
Exactly.
It's going to be tight and small. They probably went too far because what happened, if you watched it, there wasn't that excitement, that buzz on the broadcast because there wasn't as many ticket holders. So we want that excitement and buzz. We want to allow more people to come, but we also want to create an environment that's exciting. The players want an exciting environment. So, we prioritize making sure we balance the corporate with our ticket holders. So we can invite the most amount of people in a safe way and in an enjoyable way, but also create an environment of a major championship with the roars, the crowd that really it's such a unique thing in golf because unlike most sports, they're on the playing field. So they create this unique dynamic that you don't get across the board. But it's not a perfect science. Every site is different, and you have to adjust your plan based on the site for everything, not just corporate versus ticket holders. I mean, logistics, operations, build, it all is dependent on the site and the community. But we really want to make sure that we're not tailoring our products to just one type of person or one group.
Right.
Yet doing what's best for the financials because we are a nonprofit organization that creates revenues for the different things we do to support our 30,000 PGA professionals and grow the game of golf.
Yeah, that makes sense. My co-host Ethan, who he is usually on, but kind of today, he was out there at LACC and he kind of said that it kind of lacked that excitement from the common fan like us, which I do have a question at the end of the podcast episode just to ask you, a fun question about the 2021 PGA, but you did kind of go into the course, the city, the host of the tournament. So what makes Valhalla Golf Club a good fit for the PGA this year?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we have a unique background or history with Valhalla. Our first event was 1996 PGA Championship. This will be the fourth PGA Championship we've hosted at Valhalla Golf Club. We've also hosted a Ryder Cup and 2 senior PGAs. And we owned the course for 2000 to 2022. We owned it.
Okay.
And that's quite unique.
Yeah.
We don't run the business of owning golf courses, and we can dive into maybe, why we owned it and why we got rid of it if you want at some point. But so we have a really good understanding of this property. And over the years, we've created some efficiency. So one of the most important things of a host site is it has to be able to fit the infrastructure necessary for an event of this scale. So yes, the golf course is the number one priority. It has to be a championship course that tests the players, that has the challenge and the length, honestly, these days. That is the number one priority. But then closely right there is, can it hold a major championship? There are amazing golf courses across the nation that would be great for the competition, but you can't get the infrastructure, the facilities, bringing in tens of thousands of people. So we have a lot of infrastructure ability here over the years have created. The community really buys in and supports it. They don't have a lot of sporting events. The Kentucky Derby is their big event, and they do a great job, and it's huge. So they really get excited about PGA of America when we come back, and they've done it. We've sold out of Thursday through Sunday championship round tickets. We've sold out of our corporate hospitality, and that's a testament to the community, which is important. And along the lines, the community also has to have the infrastructure, right? Ideally have a large enough airport for the influx of guests and people traveling in, hotels, logistics. Those are all important factors. And then last, but definitely not least, is you got to have a club that's willing to sacrifice. The members give up the course for a period of time. There's a lot that goes on. Like right now, there's forklifts everywhere. There's a ton of vendors working, and it's chaos, and it impacts the club. So they have to be willing to not only deal with that, but support the event, help us open doors, learn the community, introduce us to certain key decision makers or people that help us. So the club has to be committed, and Valhalla checks all those boxes. It's a championship course. It has the infrastructure. The community fully embraces the event. And the leadership led by Jimmy Kirchdorf, our general chair and one of the owners, and then the GM Keith Reese, who's been here for more events than I've done myself. They really buy in, they really support, and we're very fortunate of our partnership with Valhalla and to host the fourth time here, which ties Oak Hill and then Southern Hills is 5. So they want to match up with Southern Hills, but we're very fortunate to have Valhalla.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch because I know that they kind of went through some course changes, I believe, since the last time they hosted the PGA. I know this is not really your area, but since you're a part of like the team, like what for like the course set up for players, like what can we expect come Monday morning when the players go out there?
Yeah, you're right. It's not my area of focus or expertise. As I said, we focus outside the ropes, but I'm still a golf fan, and I love this sport, and I love this competition. I love this event. So I still kind of geek out on it myself. Kerry Haig, our chief championship officer, has been doing this for over 30 years, considered the best in the business.
Okay.
And I'm not afraid to say the best in the business because he is. When they brought the Olympics back to golf, when they brought golf back to the Olympics, they selected one man to set it up, and that's Kerry Haig.
Really?
So they could have picked anyone, and that just tells you he's so respected in the golf world, and he's respected by the players. And his big motto is tough but fair. He likes to create a tough golf course but fair, and you can attack it. If you play well, you can shoot good numbers, but if you play poorly, you're going to get penalized. He doesn't want to be the story. He doesn't want the PGA of America to be the story. He wants to create a tough but fair course and get out of the way and let it be about the best players in the world competing against the golf course and competing against each other.
Yeah.
Valhalla has created drama over the years. 96 went to a playoff between Mark Brooks and Kenny Perry. 2000 went to a playoff, an epic playoff with Tiger Woods and Bob May. Yeah. And then 2014, Rory winning in the dark, basically barely beating Phil by one shot on 18. And the leaderboard was amazing in 14. It creates a ton of drama because it gives an opportunity for people to score, but you can still mess up. Since 2014, there hasn't been a lot of changes to the integrity of the golf course. We've changed the grass, which you have to be a real golf nut to understand the difference in grasses, and it's a little outside my area of expertise. But it used to be a bent grass, a more cool weather grass. They've changed to zoysia, which is a warm weather grass, which is better for this environment. It creates a more firm golf course. So you're going to see more harder bounces, more rollout. The ball sets up a little bit better for the players. And it's just an overall better playing condition. They've improved some runoffs around the bunkers that make those more penal and more likely to go in. And then we've added length. There's about four different new tee boxes, adding length, which is needed. So it'll play around 7,700, just under 7,700 yards. It'll play as a par 71. It's typically a 72. The second hole is typically a par 5. We played as a par 4. And its defense honestly is rough. And then you got to hit, it's a second shot golf course. I mean, you got to hit the fairways, but it's really a second shot golf course. And you've seen that with the people that have won here. They've played really well in their approach game. The greens are not super difficult or penal. Of course, they'll be running at championship speed and they'll be fast. But it's really, you get second shots. And it's going to be a tough, challenging course. However, you're going to see good scores. And that's what I love about the PGA Championship is, maybe the scores are lower, but there's drama, there's excitement. And as a golf fan, I'd rather see personally, there's a balance, but I'd rather see people go out and win a golf course than protect the lead and let other people make mistakes. I'd rather see people go out and have to go get it and win it. And I think Valhalla will create that environment.
Yeah, I was watching the highlights a couple days before to prep for this, just to watch the highlights of 2014. And that was a great ending, as we know. I kind of want to shift to the tournament itself. So you've been a tournament director before with all this experience. Like, what does, I guess, like Sunday morning, what do you like feel leading into to Thursday as like a championship director?
Yeah. So our championship starts Monday. It's a 7-day event. And a lot of people only think of it
Yeah.
as a 4-day that they see on TV, which is fine. But we do have 3 days of practice rounds that's open to spectators. So we really gates open on Monday, May 13th. Here, I think it's 3 weeks away, making me nervous as I talk
I
here.
know. Sorry.
No. I'm joking. We have a countdown clock right when you walk in our office. So I'm constantly reminded how much time we have. So, there's a lot that goes in. There's a scramble. There's a rush to get to the gates open Monday. And then Monday, Tuesday, and somewhat into Wednesday, we're kind of fixing some kinks. There's always things you learn, way people move, carts are interacting the wrong way. It's more of the logistics and operations and people movement. The players and all of that, that's pretty honed in. We know where the
Yeah.
clubhouse space, the range, the course, but it's all the operations. And so you're kind of putting out fires, and hopefully things are going smooth, right? Hopefully by Thursday, when what we say balls in the air, so once the competition actually starts, hopefully by then things are kind of calming down. Thursday's when hospitality opens, so there's always some, as you know, there's some learnings there.
Oh yeah.
But that build up to Thursday, that's really what you're trying to get to. You're trying to get to Thursday, get the competition going. Once the competition goes, it's like, all right, let's step back. We've kind of figured out the kinks, but then the crowds get larger. So more and more people
Yeah.
are showing up as the weekend. So then there's more challenges that come up. But hopefully, if we're doing things right and knock on wood, the weather cooperates. Come Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm sitting back watching the broadcast, seeing what's happening there. I have different meetings that I have to do we'll have the Aronimink guys in and other future host sites meeting with their counterparts. And, but there's the buildup. When we get to Thursday, it's like, all right, now let's go. Of course, we still got 4 more days of work, and to get to that championship Sunday, to get that trophy presentation, which is the milestone, the goal. There's a lot goes into it. You never know. Every week's a little unique and different. You hope it's not, if the radio's not loud and I'm not asked to do much, and I'm out of the way, that's usually a good sign.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your question perfectly, but
No,
let me know if you have any follow-ups.
No, that's perfect because as you said, you worked 2.5 years for 7 days, which is a lot of work. And I remember when I was a volunteer, I think more for the Ryder Cup in 2020, I've done that before, so I forget who the volunteer assistant was that was like in my mind, but they were just on top of it. Like they were just so like stressed out with everything going on. And I was like, hey, like, is there anything like I can do? I'm just like standing here, not really doing much. And I remember I hopped in a golf cart and was going out to different chalets and like trying to help out. I'm not sure I was probably supposed to be driving a golf cart since I'm not, I was just like a volunteer, but that was a good like memory. I kind of want to bring up a story. So you were at Kia 1 2021, the 18th hole. Brooks Koepka, Phil, fans are bombarding them. You couldn't even see Brooks and Phil. I think Brooks might have said he got like pushed around with like his knee or something, or maybe Phil. But kind of from your perspective, you're far away or right there. What were you thinking in that moment?
I don't know if you have an explicit disclaimer, but because what I was thinking probably isn't the best to use right now. I was behind 18 getting ready for the trophy presentation. So when the leaders are on hole like 15 or 16, we'll get the trophy near 18. We get all of our different groups that are going to come out and be a part of the trophy presentation or take photos with the champion. We get them all corralled around 18. So I'm sitting next to Roger Warren, who's a former president of the PGA of America, and he is the president of Key Island Golf Resort, and he was our general chair. Close friend, mentor, and someone I admire deeply. I'm sitting next to him, and we're kind of looking down. We know they're on the tee, and they just hit.
Yeah.
And I notice people are running on the fairway. And I said some choice words, And I look over and Roger's just like, this is great, isn't it? And I go, no, it's not great, Roger. It's not great. And the radio goes crazy. You know, they broke contain. And I was mad. I was really
Yeah.
mad. Because at the end of the day, that falls under my responsibilities.
Right.
The safety of our guests, the integrity of the championship, and making sure the environment is protective of that integrity. And we lost contain. And you think about it, golf, it's a rope. It's a rope. It's not the best barrier, but usually you have people that are respectful, and the type of
Yeah.
person that comes to a golf event usually understands the dynamics, and we typically don't have issues. But they broke contain. I was very upset. Luckily, no one got hurt. Brooks got, he
Yeah.
says he got knocked up, and I believe him. He was battling some knee issues. I saw him earlier in the week on the Champions Dinner, and he was definitely battling a knee issue. But I also think part of that was he was just frustrated about his play and whatnot. We did, after a lot of yelling and running around, we did kind of get it contained, and it wasn't until I got home and I was watching Golf Channel recap of it, or live from or something, and they showed clip of Jack getting swarmed by fans, Nicholas, of Tom Watson getting swarmed, Seve, Tiger, and all of a sudden I go, wait, this is epic. This is historic.
Yeah.
This is going to go down in history. This experience, that atmosphere, that environment, those images, and I realized that I was just part of something really special. And it really hit me. And now, if I could show you some of my other memorabilia, I've got the image, and it's my desktop. So I got two monitors. I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I've got a framed photo, two framed photos, and it's an image of Phil with his hands up and spectators all around the green. And it's a memory now and a reminder of what we accomplished, what we achieved, and how epic it really was. So I was disappointed. It's something we learned from, and it's something we put in. If you actually go back and watch 22 or 23 PGA Championship, when the leaders are coming up 18, you're going to notice a ton of security guards and more bike fence. So we learned, we adjusted. We can't have those things happen. I think it was a combination of the buildup of COVID, and that was kind of a coming out party. That COVID was kind of quote unquote over because the masks were no longer involved. And then Phil, the story. Phil is a fan favorite, or maybe was a fan favorite. It's better way to put it now.
Right.
If Brooks was winning, I don't think that would have happened. If you name the player, I don't think it would happen. There's only a couple that spur that type of response, and Phil definitely is one of those. So we learned, but looking back on it now, I can appreciate it. Although we still got to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that was going to be like your answer. I feel like in that moment you're like probably freaking out because again, like you don't want a spectator to get hurt. You don't want Brooks Koepka to tear something or like a player. But as you go, if like Brooks just got hit like a tiny bit, as you said, I mean he loves like the PGA. He's won like 3 times. I don't think he'll say anything like bad about you guys anymore. So I don't think you have to worry about that. But that was such a cool moment. But
it's like, who's he going to blame?
Exactly.
He can't blame anyone. He can be mad. That's fine.
Well,
and I
it's
don't
kind
blame
of like
him.
in college basketball. Like we had those two instances where the court storming, a player on Duke got hurt a little bit, but he came back like the next game, So it's like
what do you want? Do you want no fans? You want no fans?
Yeah, exactly. You can't complain about LACC not having enough of my kind of fan to be very passionate, but is there anything? I know you said that you put up a fence and more security guards, but in a joking matter, is there a plan if like Tiger is coming up like 18 that you do allow fans to kind of swarm?
Yeah, you do. There have been times where we've actually strategically let the ropes down and had security kind of hold a big rope and let people come into the fairway and walk them down.
Right.
And we actually talked about that kind of inside baseball. We actually talked about that a little bit for 2021 because at the senior PGA, we do it all the time. And that had been my experience. And so I brought it up and we ultimately decided, no, let's not. We didn't feel like it was the right decision. If we could go back, we maybe rethought that. But it's one of those things you most likely probably should avoid. But in that
Yeah.
scenario, I think moving forward, we will more strongly consider it depending on who's the champion because we can mitigate some things. But our
Yeah.
proactive measure is just making sure we have a better plan around
Right.
18. Although we felt we had a good plan around Kiowa, we learned some things that we can do better, and you're seeing that. And again, luckily nothing happened, and we'll
Right.
continue to learn from that. Move forward.
Yeah. Two more questions, kind of more fun questions. We saw last year Michael Block kind of took the whole tournament by storm. Like at that time, I know you said you were at Oak Hill. Like how big was that just for like the championship to have a guy like him, kind of have that whole like story
Yeah, it's a
last
great
year
question.
and then
The common golf fan or golf sport fan don't know the differences in all the governing bodies of golf.
yeah,
And so the PGA of America is not the PGA Tour, which is a common misconception. We used to be one, and then the players split. The touring professionals that go out and play golf, compete in golf for as a profession, from the club professionals that run golf courses and teach lessons. There was a split, and they created the PGA Tour. And we're the PGA of America, and our mission and our day-to-day focus is supporting the 30,000 men and women that are PGA professionals. So we certify them, we educate them, train them, support them, help grow their profession, and help grow the game of golf. And they are the front lines of growing the game of
yeah,
golf. That's used way too much in golf right now, but it is. I think we have the best claim to it because our professionals are out there growing it. They're the ones giving the lessons,
exactly.
welcoming people to golf courses. And when we grow the game of golf, we're giving our members more business. More people are coming buying green fees or buying lessons. So we are focused day to day on those 30,000 men and women. And in the PGA Championship, what's unique, it's an all professional field, so no amateurs. You have to be a PGA of America professional. And we give 20 spots to club professionals that qualify through our national championship, our PGA Professional Championship. It's actually happening in a week in Frisco.
Okay.
So Michael Block was one of those 20. So he's just a club pro from California competing,
Yeah.
and he's competed a little bit. But to have a PGA professional actually in contention doesn't happen very often. And he's a character, and he played so well, and his
Yeah.
story. And then to hit the hole in one, I mean, it was just incredible. And then on 18, he gets up and down to qualify for this year, so he's going to be in the field for 2024. I mean, it was fantastic, and we couldn't have asked for a better storyline to yet again put the PGA professional on the center stage and kind of promote that through him. And he's a great representative of these guys can still play. They may run the golf course, but they're still good golfers. And we're hopeful that, we'll have more of the team of 20 come and compete and do well at Valhalla. But that's going to be tough to top. That was a cool story.
Oh
And
yeah.
he's fully taken advantage of his 15 minutes of fame have like turned into, I don't know, an hour. He isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean he did a lot of YouTube content, getting a lot of different sponsors, so that only helps you guys too. My day job, I work for Corporate Financial, so big sponsor of the PGA, and I think our logo's on his bag. So people in our
Yeah,
company were
they
like pretty
sponsor
happy.
they sponsor the team of PGA professionals. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was great for them, and yeah, it's a great storyline.
yeah. Last question before I let you hop off. 2020 Aronimink, you're the championship director. We kind of said before, I'm from Philadelphia in like the suburbs, so this is our first major championship in I guess that'll be 13 years. 23 U.S. Open at Marion was our last one. What are you excited about, and are you prepared for Philadelphia fans to take over Aronimink?
Yeah, I'm very excited. We actually started the planning. So as I said, it takes us about 2 to 3 years, a planning process. So I was out there last summer identifying some key areas. Kind of the first thing we do is where we're going to put some key areas, broadcast compound being the biggest, then our
Yeah,
shops, which is the size of a football field, our merchandise tent, and then our hospitality. And then I hired a guy who's out there at the end of last year. And so we're already working on it. And you can tell the
yeah,
excitement is high. The club is really stoked, very supportive. And it's going to be a unique one because the property is a traditional golf course, a Donald Ross traditional course,
yep,
very similar to Marion in the fact it's very tight. There's
yep.
there's there's
That's
not a
Philly
ton
for
of
you.
space. So the we're going to really have to balance the number of people that can join us, and how do we make sure that we balance that, as we talked about earlier, the corporate and the regular ticket holder. But what's really great is, first off, it's an amazing golf course. It's going to be very compelling, but it's going to be very intimate and, I mean, exciting. You're going to hear roars. Something happens on hole 2, you're going to be able to hear it anywhere. And hole 2 is on the outskirts of the property, but it's so
Yeah.
tight that I think it's going to create this atmosphere and this environment that's going to be very exciting. And we know the fans in Philly love coming out, showing
Yeah.
up, having a good time. You know, we changed to a model in 2022 where your food and non-alcoholic beverages are included with your ticket. So you buy a ticket, you come in, you go to concession, you just grab what you want, a limited
Okay.
amount each time, but you can
Yeah.
go back as much as you want. So you only have to go in your pocket for if you want some merch or if you're going to get an adult pop. You know, I don't know. I think it's going to be a little rowdy. It should
We'll
be a
bring
good
it.
time. But no, it's exciting. The community's opening their arms. We've already had some connections in the sports world in Philly with the teams. Everyone kind of plays nice and wants to see. I mean, the pride in Philadelphia. I don't know Philadelphia, but I've only been there a couple times, and I can tell the pride is strong. It's high. And 2026 is going to be a crazy year because it's the 250th anniversary of our country.
Yeah.
Philly played a huge role in that. So they have a lot going on with the World Cup, the MLB All-Star Game, and us. And I think SmackDown is there, WWE or WrestleMania, excuse me. And I didn't realize how
Yeah.
big of an event that was.
I didn't either until I saw Jason Kelsey out there drinking beers. So,
But you add that with all the other sports you guys already have, it's going to be a crazy year, and we're stoked to be a part of it. You know, I think it's going to be a great way to kind of celebrate the country, celebrate Philly, and then put Aronimink on a global spotlight for a week.
yeah, I'm definitely excited as a golf fan just to have a major here. Because I was 13 when 2013 happened, when Kevin Rhodes beat like Phil. So, I wasn't there for it, but I've been itching to get a major since I've kind of started a podcast, doing content, and I honestly built my passion for golf at the 2019 PGA and the 2021, Ryder Cup. So I think I'll build even more of a passion in 2026. You don't have to worry about the fans. We're going to we'll definitely bring the energy. You might have to bring in some more security guards. If like a Tiger or Spieth or any a big name is down the wire. And hopefully we can get some cheesesteaks on the course. I'm not sure if you have looked into that, but
I'm sure we'll have those in the works.
Yeah, I'll have to tell you some cheesesteak spots or really any other restaurants when you move here. But Ryan, it's been great to have you on. I'm so excited for the PGA Championship as everyone is after the Masters we had. So I'm glad we had some time, and I'm looking forward to this week and also in 2 years at Aronimink in my backyard. So thanks for your time.
Well, thanks for having me. If I can be of value in the future, please reach out. Happy to talk anytime about golf. I enjoy it. But thanks for it. Kudos to you being in the arena, doing the podcast. I love it. Keep up the great work, and hopefully we'll connect again soon.
Yep. Thanks, Ryan. Have a good one.
Cheers.